So yesterday I saw this headline in Politico and I got excited. It said, Trump to sign executive order reviewing Buy American, Hire American practices. So I thought, hey, maybe this is like one of the 1 in 100 things that Trump does that's actually good. I'm not like the partisan, hack, loyalist Democrats who say, no matter what he does is bad. And I'm not going to look at it and actually think about it and look at the evidence. I'm just going to say it's bad because it's him doing it. No, I say I'm happy when he does something good because I'm happy when anybody does something good. So if he, for example, like he did when he killed TPP, I said, great, every progressive today should be saying, you know what, well done. Because then you're being consistent. That's something that progressives have championed for a long time. Hey, we hate TPP. It's going to outsource jobs. It's going to be a disaster. It's going to give corporations control over some nation states. It's just terrible through and through. So for him to beat it, for him to kill it, I mean, we would be the worst hypocrites in the world. It's like, now I'm for TPP. And many on the left did that, like Think Progress. They wrote articles, Trump is not serious about having the U.S. continue to be a leading power in the world or something. Just so silly. So I'd be happy if Trump did a Buy America executive order. But, of course, the devil's in the details. So the way a Buy America provision would work is that Donald Trump can sign an executive order that makes it a real Buy America provision. Instead of, what we have now is it's Buy America, so the federal government needs to buy American, but included in America is us and all of our allies. What? So Buy America really means Buy America, Buy China, Buy European, Buy Israeli. Like, it's all of our allies. So you could literally have no products bought by the federal government actually made in America, and they would still say, we have a Buy America provision where we buy our stuff from America because we include our allies in under the umbrella of America. So it's just a lie. It's just a way to wiggle out of actually buying American. So Trump on the campaign trail was like, yeah, we're going to actually buy American. He hasn't done it yet. By the way, he could have signed that executive order on day one if he wanted to. He didn't sign that executive order. But now you're thinking, wait, did he do it this time? Because that's what this sounds like. Well, let me give you what they say here. Listen to the wording and listen to how weaselly this is. They say, President Donald Trump on Tuesday will sign an executive order aimed at bolstering his pledge to buy American and hire American by directing federal agencies to probe government procurement practices and re-examine all programs under which workers enter the United States from abroad, including H-1B visas, a key priority for tech companies. The Buy American aspect of the order will focus primarily on the twin pillars of maximizing Made in America content and minimizing waivers and exceptions to Buy American laws, a senior administration official told reporters late Monday afternoon. Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross will coordinate an effort across all government agencies to root out weak monitoring, enforcement, and compliance efforts relating to procurement practices, the official said. Ross will then advise Trump on how to close any existing loopholes in a report due 220 days from now, Thanksgiving Day, though the official noted recommendations could also come sooner. Sweet Jesus, stop with the fucking word salad. If that sounds confusing, it's because it is. It's because they want it to sound confusing. It's because they want to mislead you into thinking they're actually going to do the right thing when they're not. You want to know how you could do the Buy America provision? Here's how you could do the Buy America provision. Do the Buy America provision. That's it. Say, I want an executive order on my desk today that says, included in Buy American, that no longer means our allies as well. Buy American means Buy American within the borders of the United States of America. That's all the executive order has to say. You sign your name, that's it. It's over. The whole issue's over and done with, and you just made progressives really happy, because we're not in favor of outsourcing. We're in favor of giving people good jobs here at home. We don't care about, none of our policies are geared to help out Americans. We have people unemployed here. We have inner cities that need to be rebuilt. So why not actually do a Buy America provision? Progressives will be happy. Conservatives will be happy because they're nationalists and yeah, America's the best ever. Fuck everybody else. Progressives aren't saying it out of animus and hatred for other countries. We're saying it out of common sense. Hey, you're the U.S. government. Shouldn't you care first and foremost about U.S. citizens? Just common sense. So you would do that and it'd be wildly popular. But what are you doing? You're not doing that. You're signing I'm going to sign a Buy American, Hire American executive order that reviews the practices of it, and then in 220 days, I'll maybe not, kind of actually do something solid on it. No, you could do something solid on it right now. But you don't want to do it because the corporations don't want you to do it because they love the fact that we still import from our allies and pretend like it's Buy American. And by the way, the other aspect of it is the Hire American part. That's just a stealth way of saying, yeah, immigrants, obviously we're against undocumented immigrants, but even legal immigrants, if we don't think you're productive enough, or if we don't think you meet the strictest of standards for the highest skilled immigrants, forget it. You're done. You're out of here. That's fucked up, man. I know people who are high skilled immigrants who could be swept up in something like this because the government decided. And remember, Steve Bannon made Trump look like a liberal on this when Steve Bannon said, oh yeah, should we have all these Indians in Silicon Valley? I don't know, because it's more than just about your skill set and labor. It's also about what kind of a society you want to create. So in other words, that's like white nationalism. That's what he's in favor of. So this is a weird way. Now, I don't know if it'll be that extreme, but the fact that they want to review, visas for many people who are here that are basically high-skilled immigrants, it's not a good sign. So this is really a stealth anti-immigrant executive order, and also a stealth, let's make it look like we're doing something actually Buy American, but not Buy American executive order. If you want to sign it, you can sign it today. All it has to say is, Buy American actually means Buy American. Doesn't mean Buy Chinese, Buy Canadian, Buy Mexican, Buy Israeli. It doesn't mean any of that. It means Buy American. You could sign that executive order today, but you're not doing it because you don't want to do it because you're doing the bidding of the corporations. The award for the worst article of the week goes to Reuters. So James Oliphant is the author here, and here's what he says. Wall Street banker Cohn moving Trump toward moderate policies. Wow. A Wall Street banker from Goldman Sachs is making Trump more moderate. That's really the argument you're going to make? That's the argument he makes, which is why this is the worst article of the week. So let me give you some of his points here. In a White House marked by infighting, top economic aide Gary Cohn, a Democrat and former Goldman Sachs banker, is muscling aside some of President Donald Trump's hard-right advisors to push a more moderate, business-friendly economic policies. Cohn, 56 years old, did not work on Republican Trump's campaign and only got to know him after the November election. But he has emerged as one of the administration's most powerful players in an ascent that rankles conservatives. Trump refers to his director of the National Economic Council as one of my geniuses, according to one source close to Cohn. More than half a dozen sources on Wall Street and in the White House said Cohn has gained the upper hand over Trump's chief strategist, Steve Bannon, the former head of the right-wing website Breitbart and a champion of protectionist trade opposed by moderate Republicans and many big companies. Cohn is a key administration linked to business executives, and White House sources say he will lead the charge for Trump on top domestic priorities such as tax reform, infrastructure, and deregulation. Gary's singular focus is tax reform, and he's working to try and get that done in 2017, said Oren Snyder, a partner at law firm Gibson Dunn and a longtime friend of Cohn. Okay, so let me break down what this means here, because there's a few different angles to it, and there's a few different important points to make. Now, there's a giant rift in the Trump administration. They'll swear up and down that that's not the case, but they're just lying to you. The rift is, I'm going to give them the funnier names here to describe them, the globalist cuck wing of the Trump administration, and you have the ultra-nationalist / bigoted wing of the Trump administration. Now, when you talk about the globalist cucks, who are we referring to? Gary Cohn, Jared Kushner, anybody who's from the financial industry, anybody who's an establishment Republican and a big-time player in GOP politics, or people who are Democrats, but they're just massively connected to Wall Street and hedge funds and things of that nature. Now, on the other side, the ultranationalists, you have Steve Bannon and anybody who, Jeff Sessions, anybody who cares more about the social issues, but happens on some economic issues to not be with the Wall Street crowd. Now, who do you root for in this fight? It's actually a complex answer. So when you talk about social issues, you unquestionably want the globalist cucks to win. Now, why is that? Because when you look at Jared Kushner, when you look at Ivanka Trump, when you look at guys like Gary Cohn, they're people who they socially don't give a shit. They probably don't give a shit if you smoke weed. So they're going to be, pro-abortion, pro-gay marriage, against the outright bigotry against Muslims, against anti-Semitism. So on social issues, you're going to want to root for Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump and Gary Cohn and people like that. Now, here's the part of the analysis that virtually every other commentator leaves out. While you would want Kushner and his ilk to win on social issues, you unquestionably want them to lose on economic issues and foreign policy issues. When you go to Bannon, now Bannon is horrific on social issues. He's a bigot through and through. He barely even tries to hide it. I mean, what's the book, Camp of the Saints or something, that he thinks that he loves, and he thinks it's like a real depiction of what's happening now, and that book is just openly racist in a literal sense of the word, where it's like, all these inferior races are coming in and invading our countries. And in the book, there's the leader of the inferior races is like a guy who literally eats shit. And the idea is we need to kick him out of the country and like genocide them. So terrible bigot, hates Muslims, reports that he doesn't like Jews, so on and so forth. So you don't want him to win on social issues at all. But you do want Bannon to win on economic issues and foreign policy issues. On foreign policy issues, he's like an old school paleo-conservative, like Pat Buchanan, where he says, I don't want to do fucking wars for no goddamn reason. It's a waste of our money. It's a waste of our resources. I don't agree with interventionism. I'm not like the neocons. They view the neocons as globalist cucks. You want the U.S. to control everything all around the world. Why don't we just take care of our own country? So you want Bannon to win on foreign policy. So it was actually a bad sign that he got kicked off the National Security Council, believe it or not. And you want Bannon to win on economic policy. Because on economic policy, again, he's like an old school paleo-conservative, not a neoconservative. So he says, okay, let's stop doing these stupid ass deals that outsource jobs. Let's, make the U.S. a manufacturing hub, have protectionist trade policies, bring back tariffs. So if you're a progressive, what you want is Bannon to win on foreign policy. He'd keep us out of Syria, might even wind down Afghanistan. You want Bannon to win on economics because he'd say, no way TPP, no way we do anything even close to it in a future trade deal. But you want Bannon to lose on social issues, and you want Cohn and Kushner and Ivanka to win on social issues. And what we're seeing here from Reuters is just a total misrepresentation of the facts in the sense that they're saying, well, Gary Cohn, a Wall Street banker, a Goldman Sachs guy, is making Trump more moderate. Moderate to who, dipshit? Moderate to Goldman Sachs and Wall Street. To them, moderate is what? A complete and utter sellout. That's what moderate is to Wall Street. Moderate to Goldman Sachs is they do our bidding and don't fucking question us. That's what moderate is to them. So Trump has appointed at least 4 people from Goldman Sachs to top administration positions. He's doing their bidding even though they're literally a criminal organization that had fraud as a business model. But again, the framing in the Wall Street Journal is 100% from the perspective of the establishment, of Wall Street. 100% from Goldman Sachs' perspective. Gary Cohn is a moderate influence because if you hadn't noticed, in this article, they're not saying, hey, Trump is listening to Gary Cohn and Jared Kushner when it comes to social issues. He's listening to them when it comes to economic issues. Trump's moderate now because he wants to deregulate everything. Oh my God. You're Reuters. You sick sons of bitches. You're Reuters. Maybe a little mention about the fact that the last time we did massive deregulation, what happened? Oh, I don't know. The Great Recession. What about the time before that? The giant recession after Reagan. What about the time before that? The Great Depression. When you get rid of the rules, the people on Wall Street are not the smartest guys in the room. They're the greediest guys in the room. And to make themselves rich, they don't care if they crash the world economy. We've seen it time and time and time and time again. You deregulate, the market takes off. Everybody goes, woo, the good times will last forever. Oh my God, there was just a giant crash and we're all going to die. Why do you think they called it the Roaring 20s before the Great Depression? Because everything's so great. This isn't a bubble. We're going to do great forever. Oh my God, we're all going to die. Happen every single goddamn time. Every time. And now they're doing the same thing. Trump is, market went up today under me. Yeah, dipshit, it's fake growth. It's a bubble. It's going to pop and it's all going to be on you because you and your fucking deregulatory policies. Obama did Dodd-Frank, which was like minor, a fucking Band-Aid over a gangrenous wound. A very minor regulation with loopholes. So this is going to crash, man. And it's going to be terrible for everybody except the bankers on Wall Street, who, if Cohn is in charge, will get another bailout. Hey, by the way, they didn't even mention in the article. Gary Cohn took, I'm not kidding, hundreds of millions of dollars, leaving Goldman Sachs in exit bonus, and now he's in the government. I wonder if he's going to bias policy in favor of Goldman Sachs. I can't fucking tell. Of course he's going to do it. That's his whole point. That's his whole existence is geared towards that. That's how human nature works. Dick Cheney got the exit bonus from Halliburton. Oh my God, lo and behold, Halliburton gets a no-bid contract for billions of dollars when we go into Iraq. He made them rich because they paid him. Gary Cohn, hundreds of millions of dollars from Goldman Sachs. He's going to bias policy in their favor and say, fuck you to the American people. That's what he's going to do. He doesn't care about you. He doesn't care about the fact that 50% of Americans make $30,000 a year or less. You call him a top economic advisor. What's he going to do to fix that, Mr. Top Economic Advisor? Nothing, because he doesn't care. He doesn't talk about it. Neither did this article in Reuters, because they suck. Do your fucking job. What are you calling him moderate? Moderate to who? What does that mean? Deregulation like crazy. Doing a tax deal, which, what does that mean, by the way? It means, we're going to bring back the money from overseas that all these corporations are shoving in tax havens. But what are they going to do? They're going to make a deal where they have to pay like next to nothing in taxes. Instead of saying, hey, we're going to make you bring it back and you're going to pay the tax rate that exists, they say, we're going to let them bring it back and we're just going to charge them a much lower tax rate. So you're rewarding them for doing tax evasion. Hey, guys listening, go ahead, you try to do tax evasion. See how it works out for you. Don't do it because you'll be in jail. But corporations do it. What do you mean? Then they make a deal. They get to make a deal. If you go, I'm supposed to pay 35% taxes, but I disagree. I'm just going to hide my money somewhere. The government's not, okay, now, we're going to be nice to you and make a deal, and maybe you pay 5% in taxes? No, that's not the way it works for you. You just go to jail. They say pay or else. For corporations, shove it overseas, and then since you buy the government, the bitches in the government, the lapdogs turn around and go, what do you want? We want to pay 5%. And then they'll frame it as a win because they'll say, okay, you pay 5% and one of those percentage points goes to an infrastructure bank and we get a little bit of infrastructure improvement. Yahoo! Everybody wins. No, you pay your fucking taxes like everybody else, you sons of bitches. I mean, this is sick. They own the government and Reuters, the media. They don't even call it out. You're supposed to call it out and say, hey, here's the ruse they're playing on you. Here's the trick they're playing on you. They get to dodge their taxes, and even the terminology. They're just using a tax haven. Isn't that lovely? It sounds like the money's on a beach getting a suntan. I think I stole that from Bill Maher or somebody. But that's what it sounds like when you do it. Tax avoidance and you go to jail. So no, pay your goddamn taxes. But according to Reuters, they're just a moderate. It's just he's a moderate guy from Goldman Sachs, a criminal organization that had fraud as a business model, and he knew about it and probably participated in it. He's a moderate guy who's just, pushing Trump in a more moderate direction of deregulate everything and let corporations rob you. Our media is a goddamn joke. And remember, news and politics on YouTube is in serious trouble, as we've discussed. We were on the blacklist for a while, where we made next to nothing for having nearly 500,000 views in a day. Made next to nothing. So they're trying to defund independent media that actually gives you facts and information, and they're trying to revert it right back to the big corporations that had it all along and have sucked all along. What do you think YouTube TV is? All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and take YouTube and turn it into TV. Yeah, but people left TV to come to places like YouTube. That's right, we're just going to go ahead and turn around and make it TV again now. Look at the companies that are part of YouTube TV. It's a joke. It's just TV. So what do they want to do? Defund news and politics, take those resources, give it to YouTube TV, the people who are already rich, the corporations that already get way more money than they should, way more advertiser dollars than they should. But guess what? We have a trick up their sleeve that they don't. Go ahead. If Fox Business goes under, go ahead. Try to solicit direct donations from the grassroots. See how that works out. That is adorable. They'd say, huh? Nobody's going to pay anything for that. What do? We ask you guys, the listeners, hey, you're our primary source of funding now. So $2 a month, patreon.com/secular talk. That's all I ask of you. It's basically a cent per video because we do 40 videos a week plus Kyle and Corin. And you guys step up to the plate. That's what happens. So everybody who's donating, I want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart because it really shows that you understand that we're doing something here that you're not going to get from mainstream media, corporate media, establishment media. They're just bad at their job, and we're filling in that blank, and now they're punishing us because we're doing a good job. So patreon.com/secular talk, and I promise you, we will be here, we will keep fighting, and it's not just me, it's all the other independent, strong, progressive, liberal, atheist outlets. We're all going to fight, and we're going to fight because we have you guys behind us. Senator Dianne Feinstein of California did a town hall event in San Francisco, and she got herself in some hot water and really created quite a scandal here with her comments on Medicare for All. Let's watch.
But the healthcare industry is getting all the breaks. So my question again, how are you going to help support single-payer healthcare?
Well, if single-payer healthcare is going to mean complete takeover by the government of all healthcare, I'm not there. If single-payer healthcare means trying to work out some of the problems that are existing, we've got an immediate problem that I learned about just coming up. It's a cost responsibility issue, and there was a House court case, and the House won the court case. And this is going to cost insurers in a month $7 million for 6 million people who get extra help between $11,000 a year and $29,000 a year. This may be what Trump is waiting for, to show that this program can fall apart, at least the individual premium part of the program. The Commonwealth, what's the name of the group that just sent the memo? I have it here, I just saw it last night. It's something that's out of the blue. I did not know that there was suit against it. And I did not know that the House won the suit on the first level. So it's going to be, this is, neither is easy.
Question on that side? Okay, next question.
Senator Feinstein, that's a room of your supporters, and they're calling you a sellout, and they're chanting single payer now. You want to know why they're doing that? Because they're right. These are not, they can't do the old trick of, oh, they're just right-wing, Republican, bad people. They're just against us because we're for good things. We're in favor of good things, and we're against bad things, and they're for bad things, and they're against good things. These are people who support you. These are Democrats. These are progressives. These are liberals. And they're imploring you. Come on, we're done here. You have to support single payer. Are we really having this conversation? You know what's happening? People are waking up. And people are realizing, well, hold on now. Every other modern nation, every other modern nation has one version or another of single payer healthcare. Everyone. And we don't. And we have politicians like Dianne Feinstein who are supposed to be the liberal party. If single payer means government control of everything, I'm not there. You're not there. So where are you? What do you believe? What do you stand for? If you don't want to make us catch up to all the other modern nations. And by the way, I don't just want to catch up to them. I want to become number one in the world in healthcare, but the only way to get there is to do one version or another of a single payer system. So where are you, Senator Feinstein? Where are you if you're not at single payer? Well, she explains. Well, there's a court case going on right now about the Affordable Care Act, and they say in the Affordable Care Act, in Section 27, subsection D, the Republicans won that portion of the case. I have the thing over here. Let me go find it for you. Come on, what are you doing? It's a bunch of bullshit is what you're doing. That's what that is. You have nothing substantive to say other than, I'm for the Affordable Care Act. Well, congratulations. You're for a plan that's very similar to Richard Nixon's plan. That, fire-breathing progressive, Richard Nixon. You agree with him. You agree with Mitt Romney and Romney Care. You agree with Bob Dole and his plan. You agree with Newt Gingrich and Chuck Grassley in the 1990s when they supported an individual mandate plan. You're with the Heritage Foundation. That's what this is. It's a right-wing plan. Now understand, it was better than nothing because our system was such a joke that anything would have been better. But that's just a little itty-bitty 5% step in the right direction. Going 100% in the right direction is Medicare for All, is single payer. I'm going to defend the ACA. Well, then you know what else you're defending? By definition, if you're defending the ACA, 45,000 people dying every year because they don't have access to basic health care. Thank you, Senator Feinstein. It's nice to know that you're on board with that. How progressive of you. How liberal of you. Whatever. What are you going to do? Take your half loaf and shut up. I mean, that's effectively what she's saying there. You're fine with 45,000 people dying because they don't have access to basic care. You're fine with medical bills being one of the top causes of bankruptcy in the country. Medical bills! That doesn't exist in Norway or Denmark or Iceland or Sweden or England or Germany or Australia or Canada. But it's good enough here. Good enough here. I'm not. If it means total government takeover, you're bought into the right-wing talking points, the smug, dismissive, propagandistic talking points of if it means a government takeover, I'm for it. Look, we're done with this. Progressives are done with this. Liberals are done with this. You can't ask if you're a Democrat, you can't turn around and say, "Why don't you come vote for me? Get up and go vote for me." You can't shame people into voting for you anymore. You have to be for something. Just to say, I'm anti-Trump and I'm anti-Trump care. Wow, the worst fucking healthcare bill ever proposed and you're against it. What a hero. It's not enough to say I'm against Trump. What are you for? Are you for making the minimum wage a living wage and tying it to inflation? Are you for having strong unions? Are you for single payer? Are you for free college? Are you for ending the unnecessary, offensive, preemptive wars that then lead to nation building? Are you for ending those? What are you for? Are you for ending the drug war? You don't have anything to say about substantive policies. Just, I'm anti-Trump and vote for me and I'll continue to do milquetoast neoliberal garbage where I still represent my donors. So here's the deal, guys. We flipped 24 in the House. We flipped Democrats to be for Medicare for all now. 24 of them. You did that because you applied grassroots pressure and you let them know, hey, let me be clear about something. If you don't support Medicare for all, we're not going to vote for you. And we'll vote for somebody else. And then you're going to lose your job. And then 24 House Democrats are like, whoa, okay, I'm for it. Now we're going after the big fish. Now we're going after Dianne Feinstein. Guys, you need to call Dianne Feinstein and kindly be nice about it, but tell her, hey, we're gonna come out against you, especially if you're her constituent in California. But if you're anybody, just give her a call and say, hey, I'm part of the Democratic base. I'm a progressive, and I'm very disappointed in you. And you will be voted out if you don't support Medicare for all. So sign on to Bernie's bill. Co-sponsor Bernie's bill. Support Medicare for all or lose your seat. Give her a call and say that. Her number is 202-224-3841. And in fact, to show you how serious I am about this, I'm going to go ahead and give her a call live on air with you guys right this second. So obviously I have no idea how this is going to go through, what's going to happen. But that's the beauty of doing a live show. And we'll see. I mean, chances are we'll be leaving a message, of course, but it's a good thing to do.
Hello, this is Senator Dianne Feinstein, and you've reached my Washington, D.C. office. I'm sorry, but all of our lines are busy right now. This phone system will allow you to hold, but it automatically disconnects after 2 minutes. So please, either hold, or if you would rather, call back.
Senator Feinstein's office, this is Sarah speaking. How may I help you?
Yes, hi. Is this where I can leave a message for Senator Feinstein?
Yes, this is the right place. What comments would you like passed along to the senator?
Okay, can you please tell her that my name is Kyle Kulinski. I host one of the top online progressive talk shows in the country. We get about 15 million views a month. And I just want to let her know that if she doesn't support Medicare for all, that we are going to have our audience and all the progressive base in the country, obviously talking specifically about California, come out against her. And we support her if she comes on board with a progressive agenda. If she doesn't, she will lose her seat.
Okay, what's your zip code, sir?
I live in New York, but I have influence throughout the country, including in California, and I've heard from many people in California about how disappointed they are with her comments this week, and we're going to make sure that she changes her mind or there are consequences.
Okay, well, thank you for calling today. and I hope you have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks. Bye.
Simple. They asked my zip code there because they want to be able to dismiss me. They want to be able to say, well, just agitator from New York. I mean, he's a progressive in New York. That's not the same as the progressives in California who obviously don't want Medicare for all. Wait, what? Don't want Medicare? No, they do. They absolutely do. And now you're going to get on board and you're going to push this issue as well. And then guess what? Eventually we win. We're going to keep flipping Democratic senators and we're going to keep flipping Democratic Congress people. And the long-term goal cannot lose because either you fight super hard and you win in the short term, or if you don't win in the short term, you eventually, since you're hammering home on an issue that the overwhelming majority of the American people agree with, you raise consciousness and awareness about it, you win elections over it because you say, hey, I'm for this thing that the American people are for, so you win and you eventually get a supermajority and then you get it through. So everything appears impossible until it's done. The Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act appeared impossible until it was done. Women's suffrage appeared impossible until it was done. So this feels impossible right now because our healthcare system is so broken, but we're going to eventually get it done. So take the initiative, move forward, give her a call, be nice about it, be kind about it, but let them know if they don't come to where the people are on this issue, we're going to vote them out. That's simple.